So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a frequency distribution for an interval level variable. This is very similar to what we've done before. The main difference is that now instead of categories, words, so something like marital status, or eye color, or race, we have numbers. This is going to change things a little bit, and we'll see how. So if you want to follow along, just make sure that you have this file open, this workbook, 0405 interval frequencies. In this video, we're working through the first two sheets. The second sheet, as always, has the answers in it. So you can see where we're going with this. So let's get started. We want to calculate first the frequency distribution, that's the percentage. So in order to do that, we just type in our heading just to make sure we know what we want to do. Percentage of people. Now, what is this data telling us here? It's a frequency distribution, and it's telling us that there's this number of people in each of these categories. So the variable is the number of people with various numbers of toes on their right foot. Okay, so there is one person here who has no toes on their right foot, and there are two people who have one toe on their right foot, and so on and so on. As you might guess, the largest category here, the mode, would be 5 toes on your right foot. That is most typical. So to calculate the percentage, this is just like we did before. We just do the frequency in this category of 0 divided by the total. And we need to lock that in when we copy down our formula. Enter. Now I'm going to add some formatting to this. Home ribbon, the number box, and going to percentage. This is going to automatically format it to 2 decimal places, which is what I like. Now that is done. Now for the cumulative percentage, I'm going to type that out here, cumulative percentage. The formula is just like before. So the formula, we start off with just this percentage right here, and now we do the one above it plus the one to the left. And it's always going to be the one above it and the one to the left. So this is a relative formula. So this is what we want to copy down. And you can see that this has calculated 17 plus 35 is 52. So when I copy this down, you can see it keeps on adding the number to the left to the number above, which is the same thing as adding all of these. Okay, so 7.27 is 6.4 plus 0.35 plus 0.35 plus 0.17. So that's how this works, the cumulative percentage. But what does this mean? Okay, so this is telling us, because it's adding up all of these percentages, it's telling us the percentage of people who are in this category and below. So this one in particular would be useful, just thinking about this variable. Most people, 77%, have 5 toes on their right foot. But an interesting statistic in this case might be how many have fewer than 5 toes. So we can write that here, just reading this number off of the table. This is the number, the percentage, that have fewer than 5 toes. So of the 578 people in the sample, so the total is 578, this is people, 17.47% have fewer than 5 toes on their right foot. Okay, there it is. So now for the next step, I'd like to create a chart. But I'm saying here, because our labels are numbers rather than categories or words, Excel thinks that they're data. So if we do this and make a table hitting Alt F1, it's not going to give us what we want. And I'll show you why that is in a moment. So for now, just select the data. Actually, let's do the percentages here. And hit Alt F1 to make a chart. There it is. Now you can see we've done nothing with these numbers here. So note that this number starts at 0 and goes through 6. This is going from 1 to 7. Those are not our data labels. This is just giving us the number So this one would be the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the seventh one. That's not what we want. It's not 7 toes on the right foot or 6 toes on the right foot. These are not the accurate labels. So in order to change that, let's see here. In order to change that, I'll ask you to right-click on the chart and click Select Data. Get back up here. I'll right-click on the chart, and I'll click Select Data. Okay. So now under the horizontal category axis labels, right here, we actually want to put the categories, the axis labels. So I'm going to click Edit. And up comes this window here. And now I want to, when I'm in here, I want to actually specify the range for the labels. So this was our data, and these are our labels over here. Okay. And then we'll click OK. And OK. Okay, now we're in business. You can see what it's doing here now. It actually has the labels in the chart, and it has the data in the chart. Now everything is designed as we would wish. So this is 5 toes on the right foot is right here. So that's the basic way to do a chart for an interval level variable. You have to specify what the categories are down here, the numbers. So to present this a little better, I have a few more steps down here. So first of all, this doesn't really tell us any information. So I can click on this, hit delete, give us a little more room horizontally. And I'd like to add data labels, because if you look here, what's going on here? Are there really no people? It's kind of hard to see, but if we stretch this chart out, we can see what's going on. They're just really small. Okay. So in order to make sure that somebody reading this chart can actually see these values, regardless of the size, we can right-click on a column and click Add Data Labels. So you're going to have to make sure you click on a column, because the option's not going to be there unless you're actually clicking on the data. So we'll click on the column and click Add Data Labels. And there they go. And now we can see those numbers are all there right above each bar. So if I wanted to make this a little smaller, it's going up to 90%, but I know that this is only 80% here. So I can actually change this axis by clicking on one of these numbers here. So you have to click on a number again. If you click somewhere else, it's not gonna see, it's not doing it. Okay. So I have to click on one of these numbers, and I right click and I click on Format Axis. And this window right here pops up. And I want to make the maximum, so the maximum is this up here, the maximum of the axis. I want to make that smaller. So the way to do that, I say that I want to specify it. I don't want Microsoft Excel to do it. I can click on Fixed, and I'm going to say I want to do 0.8, which is going to be 80%. And if I click away from that, I can see that the chart is already dynamically updated to give me a preview of that. That. And now the next step is to add a title. So the way to add title is just like before. I can click Layout, Chart Title, Above Chart. And I can give this a nice title. So what I'm plotting here is the percentage, right? So the percentage of people with various numbers of toes on their right foot. Enter. And now we can see that our chart is complete.